So you've learned about primitives, which allows you to store simple values. Now let's learn about strings, and then I'll show you reference types. So strings, actually, it's a reference type, but it's a special one, and I will explain this later. But in here, strings allows us to store a sequence of characters, i.e. text. So if you want to store, for example, brand, so string, brand equals to, and then Amigos code. So here, let's just end this with semicolon, and this variable right here called brand has the value of Amigos code. So this is a sequence of characters. Now here you can actually add anything. So I can add spaces, I can add gibberish if I wanted to, but basically within double quotes, so you open double quotes and end double quotes, you can put any text that you want. So this is when you want to store, for example, emails, you want to store names, any text that you can think of, you should use strings to do so. If I now say South in here, I can say brand, and if I run this, have a look, you can see that we have Amigos code in here. So this is cool. If you want to, so let's just say that we have two variables. So here I'm going to say string, and then I'm going to say Amigos equals to, so this is the name of my string variable. I'm going to say Amigos, and I'm going to have a second variable, and this time I'm going to say that this is code, and the contents within it, I'm going to say code. If I want to concatenate these two, so i.e. I want to concatenate Amigos plus code, I can say Amigos plus and then code. So with strings, the plus sign concatenates these strings together. And for primitives, remember, it adds them together. So here, if I run this, you can see that we have Amigos code. Now what I meant was, so here, if I have 1, right, so 1 and 1, so this will be 1 plus 1, you'd expect it to be 2, but because these are strings, it's just going to concatenate these two strings together, i.e. the result will be 11. If you want to concatenate symbols, you can do it. So here, I can say plus, and then here, another string right here, and I'm going to say plus. So now this will show 1 plus 1. So you can see that it's not even adding these two numbers together, but instead is concatenating the strings. So this is kind of cool. Now let me just go back for a second here, and this was Amigos and then code. Now the cool thing here is that with strings, if you want to, for example, let's say that you want to uppercase the result of brand. So here I can say dot, and then we have a bunch of methods available to us. So have a look, 2 lowercase, 2 uppercase, bytes, equals, substring, content, indent, index of, is empty, and split, starts with, strip, so on and so forth. So let's just say, for example, I want to uppercase everything. So uppercase, so 2 uppercase, and we're going to learn about methods later, but here, have a look. Brand, you say the name of your string or your variable, dot, 2 uppercase. Have a look at the naming convention that we've learned. And then parentheses, this is invoking the function. If I run this, you can see that Amigos code all in uppercase. If I duplicate this and I want 2 lowercase, I can say 2 lowercase and run it. Have a look, all in lowercase. If I want to, let's say, get a portion of my text, I can say South and then brand dot and then substring. So this is another method. And here it says the beginning index as well as the end index. So here, for example, if I wanted to just print code, for example, I need to pass 5. So here, hopefully I got this correct. Actually, no, it's meant to be 6. So 6, and now I have code because this is the 0 index, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 index. So we basically start from 6 onwards. If you want to print from 0 all the way to 5, you can say 0, comma, and then 5. So if I run this time we have Amigo. If you want Amigos, you just say 6, run it, and have a look, Amigos. If, for example, you want to check whether your string is empty, you can say South, And here I'm just going to add this string like this. And let me just add a couple of spaces in there. I can say dot and then is. So remember the naming convention for booleans. So this returns true or false. So if I say is empty, if I run this, we get false. It's not empty because we've got white spaces. But if you want to check whether is blank, i.e. there is no text in between, you could say is and then blank. Now this should return true. Have a look, this is true. So if I duplicate this, and as soon as I put, for example, a letter, so A, so this is no longer blank. Have a look. So this is false now. And also it's not empty because you've seen empty means that no strings at all. If, for example, here you want to get rid of all these spaces, so let's just basically run this. So I want you to see that we have spaces at the beginning and then at the end. So 2 spaces. You can say dot and then trim. So trim will remove all trailing spaces. So if I run this, have a look. Now we got rid of the spaces from the start as well as the end. So these spaces in here. So strings are really useful for storing sequence of characters, and with them you have all of these methods that allows you to manipulate your string. If you want to concatenate strings together, use the plus, and then all of these methods here you can actually explore and see the functionality available to you. This is all for now. Catch me on the next one.